Now what I did, I think when I got to high school, and then my school didn't facilitate sports properly. There was this whole drama. So fortunately for me, I was doing karate. I was doing karate, but that wasn't offered by this. That wasn't offered by the school. It was like independent dojo. So I worked on that. So that got me now to travel country. I will travel.
Nice.
Like, what about capital?
What?
Man.
Hey, here's the interesting thing. Yes, we got it. Here's the interesting thing. You go to a country like Canada or America or any of these countries, you find Uguti for sport, you get paid. Like if you're good enough at a sport, you can do it as a career without necessarily having to opt for the Olympics every 4 years.
True that. True.
In Canada, those guys, you rock up there in Canada, you're fighting against people
who actually get
who
paid.
do it for a living, who just do karate for a living, like they fight, they represent their country for a living. Tina, we out here. I had to pay them for that trip on my own. I had to raise funds.
I had
to raise funds.
I had to.
No, I had to raise funds. No sponsorships, nothing like that. I had to, like no government. Nothing like that. I had to raise funds. Like say, that's the state of sports setup in South Africa.
In SA, it's way too compromised like sport. No matter how good you can be, you understand. It's all about, are you able to raise the money or do you have the money? Do you get it? Because if I can tell my story, like I was playing at Okuhle, right? In my teens there, because now I'm not a teenager. So we would have tournaments, like open tournaments. I would play there. You will win those tournaments, right? Then when it comes to trials, it was pointless for me to play because after qualifying, the question is, where are you going? Who's gonna pay for you?
Yeah.
Do you get that? Then who's gonna play? Who's gonna represent Gauteng or who's gonna represent Ekurhuleni? Those who gonna be able to, like those who manage to pay.
So
no matter how good it can be,
it doesn't become a point of the ones who are most deserving representatives is the one who can afford it.
I see. That's the sad part about it. So some of the things of which we need to, to raise awareness.
Because here's the thing, I think Jonga, an interesting take on it is that there's a lot of politics around it. I would be lying if I say South Africa doesn't pay for anyone to travel in terms of sport. There are people like hear me out. This is where the politics comes in. If, for example, even within in East London in Modi, the type of people who get sponsorships, the types of dojos that get sponsorships that they get to travel, they go to Russia every 4 every 5 years, government, they go to Russia, they go to wherever. It's the type of dojos where it's either it's in a rural area or like it's run by black people.
Okay.
The dojo I attended, Bobson Dojo, was run by Sensei Craig Wallace. He's a white person.
Okay.
So there's that whole thing of he told me this where you try to organize. There's that thing of I know nina belungu, so we try to empower black people. Black community, in density again, it becomes no longer a point of banner who's skilled, who's talented, there's politics. Guy will tell me about how he went to a meeting, even with tournaments, for example. Even with tournaments, where it's like you try to organize. It happens, but hey, it's been a while since we did tournaments. It's been a while since we did tournaments. Even if it's like inter-doge, like within the same city. Like, hey, it's been a while. We realize we only go to a tournament once a year.
True that.
When you try to organize, there's politics of Imali. We paid as whatever body they are. They have a body, was KSA, Lodi, or Karate, whatever. Where you like. We pay money every year, like a fee to be a part of.
of the
The
club.
money goes towards things like this. When we need to raise funds, we have tournaments where we're gonna have stores, raise funds for this. We go to those meetings. Where's the money? Politics. The money's being channeled. There's that type of thing where it's like we paid whatever amount you paid per student. You pay an affiliation fee per student to KSA. Where's the money? This. Where's this? You know, there's a lot of
true that sport in South Africa it's very much child honestly. I
It's
feel
not
like
only sports. I mean, most things. Like, I mean, that's why universities are actually quite as full. Because most people try to get to university because they to get a degree and then they can basically go in their workplace. But that's not what they want to do. Maybe that could not be their calling because it's how they can. It's because universities after. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's guaranteed, but there are high chances of you making it when you go like through the entire.
True that. Like, I mean, like I only came to school because I understand like it's assurance, it is safe, right? But if it was up to me, I was gonna play chess. Like I was just gonna maybe persuade, or if there were any other opportunities, right? But what am I doing so far with my chess? Who's funding me? Where's the proper platform? I have to pay to play. Does it?
Yeah, well, there's you compare to other countries. Like it's not even necessarily developed countries, but you look at other countries where it's like, oh, okay, cool. These guys are teams. They make money. Oh, these guys. What do you do for them? Do karate? That in South Africa, you're like, what? The only way you think of is even if you're running a dojo or no, you're an athlete.
Sure.
Now, or you do. Basically, you pay to play.
Sure.
Now, you pay to represent you pay to represent your own country, which it's like
does it make sense?
It makes there's a lot of politics. Back to what you were saying with the universities.
I go to Canada to represent South Africa and
I paid.
Yeah,
I paid. Then even with universities, I'm thinking with even with what I know from America, you can go to university for sport.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You go there for sport.
I know a guy called Ntshweni. I don't know. I know of a guy. I listen to his like motivational videos about Ntshweni. I'm sure if you guys know him.
It sounds much familiar.
That guy, he went to university. They called him and said, "Just come play the next 10 football games and you'll be a millionaire with the university." So his main job was to go to school to play football, American football.
That's it. And I feel like one of the reasons like South Africa is struggling when it comes to sport is the mere fact that they don't give everyone a platform, deserving people. You understand? If South Africa was like, you are good, go represent us, and we're gonna fund you. South Africa is gonna be way ahead. You understand? I know people who are talented, but they can't really play because they lack money. They're disadvantaged.
The situation.
I don't know if this thing was that's what they want. Probably to exclude certain people because of money.
Because here's the thing again, where you try, because there's that thing of, I don't know, where you're trying to empower, because the justification, I'd say, which is the justification behind it, which they justify by saying, which they want to empower disadvantaged communities, they want to empower black people who are previously disadvantaged, or you want to empower, you exclude people. You find even with your sport, like your national sport, where it's like there's the whole cricket. Let me talk about cricket. There's the whole drama around cricket where if a white player gets injured, and he goes on leave for during injury or whatnot, what happens after injury? He comes back, he plays like normal. If it's a black player, what does he do when he goes injury? He comes back, he has to start at the lower level. That's what I know with cricket. And then Chiki, I think recently, I do stand to be corrected on this. Recently, it was the thing of what was it? I mean, the coach, I don't know what, was it an assistant coach or the head coach, the new head coach for cricket? The criteria would be that you have to be a black person to be density. I'm not sure what the exact thing. I do stand to be correct on it. But the next coach or the next thing has to be, you have to be a black person. And you like,
what do you say about that? I feel like even us as black people, we shouldn't be like one-sided somehow.
Density,
you understand? Let's say probably if we as black people probably say something like we are being empowered, right? I mean, like we're being disadvantaged. It will be a great thing to have a black coach. That's why we want a black coach. But if they said the same thing about white people, they said they want a white coach, what would you say? Probably say it's racism.
It's double standard. Yeah, well,
is it double standards?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Is it double standards?
That's what I'm trying. The argument is that if we say if we make the argument for black people, we are empowering them. For black people, it's empowerment. For white people, if we say no white only, then that's racist because they're already empowered. At the same time, with that you rule out other. Yes, I mean we have people like I don't know Graham Smith, Mark Boucher, I don't know if they'll stay. I don't watch sport, but you have these are white people who would most certainly fit the criteria of being a cricket coach.
Okay, so the question is okay. In conclusion, you want to say something like, let's create a coach about deserving, not sort of race or something, because those type of stuff they create a lot of tension. I mean, like, let's just like, okay, we want a competent coach. You understand?
Yeah.
Black people, they are competent. The others will be, the others are going to qualify for that post without classification, without having based on race or
based on your resume and your skill.
You see, so if you choose a black coach, it will be like we chose him because he's black. You understand?
Yeah, well,
and it goes back to like, is he competent?
Yeah, what does that say about your qualification? Are you competent? Yeah, that's.
Is it messy? You understand?
Yeah.
It seems like the only way to choose black people is the only way to choose them based on their race. On their race, you understand? Yeah, well, I feel like let's just do things because of people that are competent. I don't know, but bro.
But in Ukumbole, there's just so much going on. There's corruption. It's the imali in South Africa. Ikiwa everywhere, like everywhere.
But sport in South Africa is quite
everywhere. And it's interesting because South Africa, at least as it pertains to rugby and cricket, we are world class. Like we are there. South Africa is there. Cricket, it's there. Soccer. But you know we are there. Yeah, if we look at rankings, world rankings. South Africa won the World Cup. They're not number one. They're top 5. Cricket, we are there. There's if not top 5, top 10. We are there. But there's still a lot of politics in terms of.
Maybe soccer, there's still a lot of politics.
There's still a lot of politics in terms of how many people do you want in your team? 50% must be white, 50% must be.
Those type of stuff is a problem. Let's just put people who are just deserving.
Qualified and people who qualified deserving.
Who
have to be.
No. Or maybe you have that type of a fear that if they put people who are qualifying, then black people won't be there.
No, that's not a thing.
People are competent.
Here's the thing. People will always complain. People will always want to voice their opinion in whatever way they possibly can, and they will always try to. If I was explaining this to. The reason why I've been very simple is that you see when a detective is solving a crime, when they find a suspect and they want to close the case, they will not want to find who caused that crime once they have a suspect. What they want to do is they want to prove that suspect is the one who committed that crime, even if that's not the case.
Because it's all about case. It's all about solving the case.
Exactly. But if it's about proving that it just closing the case.
Yeah, that's
the thing. Yeah, and then you end up like you can end up.
Then you have your biases acting on man. Okay, no, we have our suspect. Let me try and find whatever evidence that can confirm the narrative.
This guy is one.
Because now I'm behind, because what I'm going after is what is number of cases solved instead of actually finding the actual perpetrator.
Precisely.
I mean, because
I get you.
Because for example, rugby, rugby. You can't say black people are not competent. I mean,
if you can watch,
I know. I played rugby. I grew up in Europe. In fact, it's not the number. Is it not the most funded sport in South Africa? I'm thinking rugby in terms of school. I think. But Jonga, rugby. I won rugby at my school. It's Model C school. rugby, we have black kids there.
Mm-hmm.
We have black kids. For every 10 black kids, you have 2 white kids. You find club at your very rich schools like your club, your Hilton or St. Andrews. It's predominantly white. But even like your lower middle, it's black kids. They are excelling. Talk about schools like Dale College. Dale College is a school in King Williamstown. Black. Our density, you can't say Gucci. Let's choose based on I'm even against no, that's 50% black, 50% white. Because it means a percentage either both ways or chosen based on their race.
Precisely.
Both ways.
This guy can't go anywhere. This guy, Jim Pearson or something. He actually said that when he was there's this lady who said when we were saying there should be more like women in the workspace and stuff like that. He's like, no, that just won't work. And people are like, so why do you say that? I'm like, first of all, you have to solve this thing from the bottom up.
Yeah.
Exactly. So meaning there's first of all, when you go to universities, there's more men than women.
Yeah.
There's more qualified men than women. So meaning there's more chances that in certain fields,
like engineering,
stuff like that, there's more qualified men than women. So that's why when you go to a workplace, it's most likely that you'll find more men than women. It's like that. So if you want to solve this, don't go to the workplace or workspace and say we want more women, because what you're saying is that we should look for women to hire to do a certain job. It's not supposed to be like that. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go way down and tell them that, hey, listen. Exactly. And say, hey, listen, there are fields like this. Expose everyone, and then they will choose. And then it will be equally distributed. That in such a way that when you get to like the even at a workspace, when you see that, okay, there's 50% just happens that there's 50% qualified engineers in this of men and also like 50% women. When you go to a workspace, it's most likely going to be that case. And if it's not the case, then there's some biasness that is there.
Because I feel like we initially become emotional without reasoning. You understand? If you can solve problems with that procedure, reason about things. Don't just be emotional. Be like, why are there no? You understand? Like, we don't have a lot of women in this workplace. The question is, do you have more qualified?
Yeah.